Hi there, how are you doing today? I have a new project that I want to share with you. It's going to be using colored tissue paper and regular paper and water. I'm going to turn the camera around so I can show you what we're doing today. Alright, so first we have on the bottom I have a cutting board just to protect the surface underneath and a couple paper towels. I have a few different types of paper here that we're going to be using so that you can see how the difference might be. This one here is a little thicker of a paper. This is a scrapbook paper, and this is your regular printer paper. Now I'm expecting that because of the fact that we're adding water to it, that this one will probably get kind of bumpy from the process. They all might be a little bit, the thicker paper will probably hold up a little better, but use what you have. I have a variety of colored tissue paper. Now some of them might bleed color and some of them might not as well. So we're just going to kind of experiment and see how it goes. And then I have a couple bottles of water. So you can use these to be able to squirt the water on to the picture, or you can end up using like a wet sponge or a paintbrush if you'd like. So we're going to get started. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these fun colored pieces of tissue paper. Now you can get whatever tissue papers you have and cut them into different shapes. I have a few strips of color, and then I have some that are blocks of color. You can cut out any kind of shape that you would like and be able to put down on your paper. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, just kind of some random things. Now if you want to create a picture, now it's going to bleed, the colors are going to bleed, but if you want to create kind of a design, you can. If you want to make a pattern with your colors, you can most certainly do that. And like I said, I'm just going to kind of randomly put them where I feel that it would be really fun to have the colors on the papers. Now I know from my experience that these purple ones that I have for some reason don't seem to create as much of the color on the paper as I would like, but that may have been because of how I had done it before. So we're going to try. I'm going to try incorporating them and see what happens. Now I'd love to see what you guys create, so hopefully someday you can share those with me. But for now, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to just challenge you to have some fun and create your own pictures. And if you don't have any tissue paper, maybe you can order some online. I know that there's some places online you can get it. If you look specifically for bleeding tissue paper, it's made for this type of a project. All right, what do we think here? Looks pretty good. We got a good variety of colors going on. So I'm going to try both of these type of squirt bottles to see kind of how they'll, oh, this one doesn't have any yellow. Let me add some yellow over here on this one. Okay. I'm going to use this squirt bottle. Now you saw that some of my pieces kind of jumped around when the water hit. I'm going to try this one. This one might be a little bit more, oh, nope. You saw how it all jumped away from the paper. All right, well, that's okay. I'm just going to set those down. So you may end up having to use one hand to hold some of them down and another hand to do the squirting. Or like I said, you can use a paintbrush or a sponge if you don't want to have to squeeze this. And that would work just as well, and you would just pat them on, pat like a wet sponge on top of each of these to be able to get them to adhere to the paper. You can even, if you wanted to, you can make the base paper, you can get it wet first. See how I've gotten this area wet that doesn't have any and then stick it on, and that might be a little bit easier to get it to stay down. And if you look carefully, you can see some of the color is already starting to bleed on some of the papers. That one went flying. See the colors bleeding off of there. So I got that a little extra wet so I can stick that down better. I don't know, like I said, this purple doesn't seem to bleed as well, but you can see the green coming out and the pink there. I'm gonna add a little more red on there. Now you want to get this very saturated so that the colors will bleed on your paper. I'm going to add another green one in there. And if there's spots where it still feels pretty dry, go ahead and add some more water. All right, now ideally what I would do is I will let this dry, and once it's dried completely, then we'll go back and peel these off. If you get a little impatient, you can start peeling them off and you'll see some color. All right, these are pretty dry now. It's been about 20 minutes. So I'm going to start peeling away some of these pieces of tissue paper so you can start seeing kind of what happens. Ooh, some of the purple did come out. What happens when you peel this away and what is left behind. Some really pretty colors. So now I'm going to challenge you to create your own piece of art using the colored tissue paper. Maybe what you can do is pick some of your favorite colors. Maybe you can decide what each color represents. If they represent a different feeling, then you can create something based on how you're feeling on that day when you create it. If you want to make it today, make it another day. Maybe make one each time you have different feelings going on. Now this is the thicker paper. I'm going to show you the back of it. The back is really pretty too. The colors bled through, which is why we have the paper towel underneath. And now this one was a light colored paper from a scrapbook. So you can see the design is there, but I used a light color so that most of the colors would still show up pretty true to color. And the purple didn't bleed a lot, but you can get some of the color there from the purple. Kind of makes a neat design there. So yeah, think about how you're feeling, what colors might represent that feeling. Are you feeling more bright colors, warm colors, yellows and orange like the sun? Feeling you like the cooler colors like the blues and the purples and the greens? Do they represent something to you? Do you feel a certain way? Do you feel excited and happy? Do you feel a little sad? Whatever it is that you're feeling, you might be able to represent that. Or just create something based on a bunch of fun colors that you love. So I'm going to continue to peel these off here. Some of them don't want to peel back very well. They're still a little damp on a few of them. I think that's why they're still sticking. And this one is the thinner paper. You can see the colors did bleed through on here. They're really pretty. So both sides are really pretty on all of these. It's kind of unique. The back of that one is just the solid white. Whereas this side had the pattern. So now it's your turn. Your turn to create something fun for yourself. spend an afternoon with your family. Cut up some pieces of tissue paper into different shapes, or just like I did with the squares and the rectangles here, and see what you can create. Have fun!